Where the is Patrick? Where the is he?
It's always an adventure hanging out with him. You're always a little concerned that you're gonna get kicked out, but it's always been like that.
Here's a new way to do business. I do everything myself. And I know nothing about business, but I just know if you buy boards for this price and you sell them for this price, maybe you can make a little bit of money and keep going. At least if I'm the one doing it, I feel comfortable. Fuck, dude, I'm not failing right now. Fuck that. Oh, it came out pretty good.
He had one of the best creative directions in terms of how he skated. You know, there was just stuff that he was doing that was truly next level.
When you think of people like Gons and Nadas and people from that era pushing street skating, Klein was right there.
People like people that are crazy. They do, and he's crazy. Any good skater is crazy. It's like an attractive quality because I'm too scared to be crazy. Let them be crazy for me and I'll be part of this thing. But I'm not gonna get up on stage and be the front man.
Jeremy was one of those skaters that a lot of skaters respected because he was so gnarly, but he also rubs people wrong in a big way.
I mean, Jeremy's a fucking character. He's an asshole at times, but he's funny.
There were a lot of assholes in skateboarding in the 90s, but Jeremy was like the iconic one. I mean, he's your classic case of arrested development. He liked video games, he loved candy. He was just a perpetual teenager.
It's so out of character for Jeremy to do this documentary, and it's something that I think needed to be done.
What's up? Welcome back to Epically Latered. I'm a little nervous. Today, we're filming with Jeremy Klein. Usually we interview the person first and then all the other people, but this time we interviewed all the other people and everyone was just warning us how torturous Jeremy Klein is. When I was a kid, one of the first videos I got was Rubbish Heap. I got Bandless and Rubbish Heap at the same time. And you could already tell how modern Rubbish Heap was compared to Bandless, how different things were. Jeremy Klein was the star of World Industries and the star of Rubbish Heap.
What? It's mine, so what?
He was the biggest star in skateboarding, 1990, 1991. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I think it's this one.
How's it going?
Hi, Jeremy.
I didn't expect you guys to be on time.
And Roland.
Oh, okay.
How are you?
Great. Come on in.
How are you? Sorry.
I didn't think you guys were going to be on time, honestly. I need to know how long you guys can hang out for because I want to try to cram all this shit in there. I needed to go to Furnace Skate Shop to drop off an order. I need to go to the warehouse and show you guys spray painting boards. We could do all kinds of shit if we hang out all night, you know? When I was in junior high school, my friends were getting into skateboarding because they saw the Bones Brigade video show. And so once I saw Tony Hawk do that finger flip in the pool, I was just like, fuck, that's really cool. People would ask me what I want to do when I get older, and I would say that I wanted to skate. You know, that's pretty ridiculous to say, especially back then, because even if you were good or you were sponsored, nobody was really making any money. I lived in a place called Lomita. It's a little spot right next to Torrance. I was doing early grabs off of jump ramps because that was what all the street contests were. My friends told me that we got to learn ollies.
I met Jeremy Klein through skating in the harbor area. We started skating together before either one of us got seriously sponsored.
Jeremy and Ron together have always been trouble.
Yeah, to be honest, those guys weren't always the kindest.
Like where Klein's from and where I'm from, it ain't no joke, bro. So like, no one gave a fuck about skateboarders.
Jeremy was just like a kind of a scoundrel, a troublemaker. I would say we were best friends for like half a year, even maybe. Like, you know, so I would spend the night at his house. The whole night was just Super Mario Brothers and sugar. Breakfast for Jeremy Klein was put a Pop-Tart in the toaster, crack open a can of Coke, take a red vine out, bite both ends off, put the red vine in as a straw, get the Pop-Tarts out of the toaster, put chocolate syrup all over it. I mean, it's like I'm describing fucking Will Ferrell and Elf right now. That was Jeremy Klein.
Okay, so check this out. So I don't think I've ever talked about this before. So me and my friends, we went to there's this place called Old Town Mall. Right when we walk into this mall, I see Per Welander sitting like he's the coolest guy ever. I'm just like, holy shit, that's Per Welander. And so I just went over and started talking to him. And so he says, yeah, we skate at this school called Burl every Saturday. I get my friend to take me over there, and sure enough, he comes rolling up with this huge jump ramp. He can do like a perfect 360 off the jump ramp every single time. I think he was doing some pogos and shit, like doing some freestyle shit around there.
He was very respectful of me for some reason. He really likes the original Bones Brigade. So I think I got that hall pass of not getting, you know, hammered with insults or what have you.
I guess he kind of liked me or something, and he started giving me boards. Per introduces me to Rocco. Rocco maybe just started the SMA that he started, but in my mind, I was just like, fuck, I want to ride for Powell. Next thing you know, though, I'm skating at the Redondo Beach Pier. Rocco's there one day with Mike Vallely, and he's like, hey, do you want to go to Arizona with me and Mike? We're going to a pro street contest. And I'm like, yeah. Per Welander somehow told Stacy Peralta, hey, please watch this guy skate. To get on Powell back then, Stacy has to watch you skate. When I get there, I don't think we said a word to each other, but he watches me for 5 minutes. I bail every single trick, and then he kind of just goes like, and just disappears, walks away.
I tried my best. I think Stacy nixed the idea.
But then, out of the blue, I just see Rocco at the pier again, and he's just like, why don't you just ride for me? And I'm like, all right.
One day I just said, fuck it. I'm gonna fucking call Rocco. And I said, I want to ride for you. And he's like, okay, hold on. And he goes, hey, you guys, should Ron get on the team? And everyone said yes. So I got on that way. Later on that week, I called Klein and I was like, hey, I'm on Rocco. He's like, I'm on Rocco too.
From that moment on, we just started hanging like a lot.
Yeah, me and him got real tight.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Klein. And this is my friend, Ron Chapman. He's 18, I'm 18. Dude, what's so-and-so doing? Hi, I'm Jeremy Klein. What about your shit, Ron Chapman? What about your shit? I'm 18, he's 18, everybody's 18.
If he didn't like you, he didn't like you, and he didn't try to hide it. And that was one reason I always respected him.
Like, there was no question in my mind. I'm like, oh, fucking Mike Vallely's on this thing. I've got to know Rocco, he's really cool. And we're getting Jesse. And then, like, I don't know, a couple months later, after he gets Mike Vallely, then he gets fucking Rodney. So I'm just like, this is amazing. You know, this guy's getting everybody from Powell, all the best guys, you know? Rocco was doing really well. He had that kind of really cool SMA logo, and then he just started sticking stuff in front of it. I think he sticks an elephant in front of it. Next thing you know, it's called SMA World Industries. And then it's just fucking World Industries.
I first saw Jeremy on Rubbish Heap, just like most everyone else. He had a really unique style.
And he did different tricks. He wasn't just like a machine trying to copy someone else.
Like, I was new to skating, but I was like, I could tell this was different. He was probably one of the first, like, skate heroes I had.
Everything about it, like, it's the antithesis of, like, a highly produced Powell video.
Spike wouldn't let us watch the footage because he said that it degrades the footage when you watch it. And to this day, I know that that's not true. I mean, yeah, if you watch it 50 times, but if you just watch it once, it's probably fine.
So Jeremy's still pissed about it to this day, by the way. To this day, if you ask Jeremy, he's like, "The fuck that! I can't believe we didn't watch the footage." Like, he'll say it.
Jeremy was very early on doing technical kickflips.
His backside 360 ollies were a thing of beauty.
Just did this crazy transfer 360 flip. I think that was one of the things that put him on the map.
I used to watch his videos in slow-mo to study his technique of tricks. And I actually told him, and he's like, "You're crazy, Willie." Like, but that's what I did.
Burl is a pretty well-known spot with this crazy bank. Jeremy just ripped that place apart.
What Jeremy did there for the time was so groundbreaking that Rodney Mullen himself is sitting on the bank, and he's the one that goes, "Oh, oh, oh," when Jeremy does the 360 flip. Like, it blows his mind. What he doesn't get credit for is pioneering handrail skating.
He did the first backsmith, right? On a handrail. That was a leap in terms of what was possible.
To see him backsmith on a handrail, and I hadn't even figured out backsmiths on a curb. I was like, dude, this dude rips. Too bad he hates us. We were the dudes that were supposed to be hated because we're supposed to go away and the new guys were supposed to have their thing. Turns out it wasn't true. The newer vert guys, which was supposed to be their time, were like so mad and so frustrated that they're getting pushed away, and so mad at the street dudes that were like, they weren't skating as fast, or, you know, and there was like crazy arguments. It was a brutal, nasty time. The way they got low to their boards and were mechanically almost crazy looking to us, I feel that I got to learn from that, because that was how you could move into doing the moves that they were able to do. You had to change your skating style.
Back then, I could do a backside Smith grind on like a fiberglass bench, like not every try, because I refused to use wax back then, or I didn't know about it or something. But you know, a bar is a lot easier than a fiberglass bench. And I think I made the 180 nose grind like second try or something. I mean, I never make anything second try.
He's the missing link. He's the one that literally took street skating to technical levels. The way he looks at skating is different, and he is probably the most underrated street skater as far as historian style goes, because no one talks about it.
So the focusing of the boards in the video, Spike is the one that taught me how to do it. He'd be like this. He'd stand there and he's like this is the first time I've ever heard of this. He's like, look right through the board and just put your foot to the floor.
I remember a conspiracy theory floating around that Rocco made Jeremy Klein start focusing boards on video as a ploy to get kids to break their boards and buy more decks.
Nothing's scripted in that video, except for Rocco told me to break. Maybe Spike told me to break his board. I don't know who, but somebody told me to do it. Ron, forget about it. Ron's fucking not doing it.
Hey, I'm doing Jeremy. Mine's already cracked. Do it right here.
Back then, there were very few black skateboarders, and even fewer black street skaters, and even fewer black street skaters that were relevant. And Ron was super talented.
Ron Chapman is like probably one of the more underappreciated skaters.
When you look back at your skate career, what are you the most proud of?
That I'm still skating now. Skating gave me something. Other than that, I'd probably be a full-time criminal. Like, I found something that gave me a reason to have self-respect and pride. Most of my friends either got into drugs, gangs, or both, and died. Or they quit before they got into either one of those. But like, that hurt me as a kid, because like, all my friends were tag banging, or going to juvie and coming back racist. Like, can't kick it with you anymore. I'm from Longo, or I'm from, like, everyone started gang banging from tagging. It went skating, tagging, gang banging.
My board comes out, this one, the Mario board back there, that board comes out and no one's buying it at all. But then Rubbish Heap comes out maybe 1 or 2 months later, I don't really know the times period, and then it's fucking selling really good. And then they get fucking the cease and desist from Nintendo, and they have to send the products to Nintendo. And a funny story about that is I was working with Nintendo like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, not really working with them, but talking to them. And they're like, yeah, we have a closet up here somewhere that I've seen open before with some really old boards with Mario on it. And I'm thinking, fuck, they've got Rocco's old stash of boards. They got $100,000 worth of boards probably. I mean, this back it's full right now. Oh shit, this is where my blue pants are? Fuck. Well, what would happen a lot with World, it seemed like you kind of became like a flavor of the month. When Rocco knew that he could no longer kind of like tell us what to do and we were gonna listen, is kind of when he gave up on us, maybe. Fuck. You got that thing, Patrick? Here's how you got paid back then. They'll order 2,000 of your boards, you get a $4,000 check. They run out of those 2,000 boards, next month you don't get a check at all. So if you don't have your boards in stock, they can't sell any, so you get no money. How you doing?
Special delivery.
Yeah. Where should I put it?
Right here is good.
Right here?
Sure.
Like I went from getting a check for $5,400 in a month to the next month I got a check for $250. And then the month after that it was $4,400. So it was just like, wow, this is nuts. Wait, why are these in here? What's the price on these? We got Nodus in a trash can. What the hell's going on here? You guys ever put my boards in a trash can?
When I started Birdhouse, I had a dream team scenario in my head. What I thought would happen was that everyone would be down because I was friends with most of them, but Jeremy would be the holdout because Jeremy had the most stable career. You know, this is 1992. So all the companies were struggling for the most part, except World. So I put out all the calls to these guys. Everyone hesitated. Jeremy said yes immediately. He was the first guy on Birdhouse. He's the first Birdhouse rider.
Dude, I don't know how he said it now that I'm thinking about it. He just said, I want to start a company. I want you to ride for me. That's what he said. That just made me really happy. And in my mind, I'm just like, okay, I'm quitting World for sure. I'm not bad-mouthing Rocco, but yeah, he just said, it's funny. It's actually really funny because he said this to me. I go, yeah, I'm actually going to quit or whatever. And he looks at me and he goes, you're going to quit? You're going to quit? Fine, you're off. Get how he's sitting. It's like Grandpa Patrick here. He's got this thing, he's got the shawl. He's got the shawl on. Okay.
I mean, I really was thankful. He took a huge chance going to Birdhouse. There was no guarantee of success. We had no money to give anyone. Having him on Birdhouse, it wasn't just about his skating, but it was more about his creativity.
This one isn't, this has dust all over it. This actually looks better than it really looks. Yeah, nobody's ever done that shit. Tony brought Willie up and said, yeah, we got to get Willie Santos. I'm like, okay, cool.
Jeremy and I were going to be the first pros under the company, whatever the company was going to be called.
Tony put all of his money on the line to start Birdhouse. Him and Per Wellender both put like their savings account on the line. Willie Santos found Jim Greco.
Jeremy basically took Jim on.
We just hit it off right away.
He was like a little brother or something, you know? And Jim, as you guys all know watching this, he's a character in himself.
Jeremy's like one of Jim's heroes, you know what I mean? So like we would always go to like sickest spots. Like his spots are the worst spots.
I say I want this guy on the team. I want to film him for my video that I'm making. Because you're always kind of just making a video back then. You know, you're never really stopping filming. But you're also not filming the way they film now, which is like hardcore, I have to get this trick. We just go to a place and fuck around, you know? So he gets here, and Greco is the kind of guy that's like the life of the party. We do that, and then I go, look, dude, I don't really have a team. I just kind of give stuff to my friends. So then he rides for Birdhouse. Jeff had just gotten here from England, but Flip was being distributed by Birdhouse, so that's how I met Jeff.
He was one of the first people I met when I moved to like a foreign country. I didn't really know anyone, I didn't feel comfortable. He just accepted me as a skater, even though I was quiet and even though I was like probably hard to understand and probably even culturally probably hard to understand. But I just didn't know whether I was happy or whether I wanted to like freaking run away or something. But Jeremy made the effort. He made the effort to pick me up to go skate. He made the effort to make me feel good about my own skateboarding too. See, I went and stayed with him when he was living with his mother, right? So I was sleeping on the floor on the couch, and you go into sleep on the couch, and there's just video game controllers everywhere, and there's probably still neon lights flashing all night while you're going to sleep. It still looks like that. Yeah. Jeremy's house still looks like that. I need to go over. Yeah, there was a lot of candy. There was a lot of sugar consumed. Like out of everyone I've ever skated with, Jeremy's the guy who goes and skates really early in the morning. And like I still skate early in the morning and at times when there's no one in the schoolyards and places like that, just because it gets rid of that distraction. If anything's rubbed off on me, it's that.
All right, we're gonna do the first pass. Well, I already did the outline pass, but now we're gonna do the black pass.
Jeremy at one point kind of took over the creative direction of Birdhouse.
Jeremy took over the art direction for Birdhouse quite forcefully because he didn't think I was doing a good job.
He wasn't doing a bad job. We just wanted some other shit.
He just started putting stuff together. And then it was like, oh, this is bold, you know, and it stands out. I would come into the office, he'd be asleep under the desk because he'd been there for days. As wild as Jeremy gets sometimes, you know, he respects the hustle.
We did the black on this one. Now we're gonna do the flesh color on this one. Tony Hawk and Per Willander helped me start Hookups originally.
We felt that skateboarding is cool in the sense that if you have different brands with different look and feel, that's a good thing.
Because I think he just had so much on his mind of graphics, like he can't really just put it all on Birdhouse.
I wanted to just make t-shirts with fucking little animation graphics on it. It was just gonna be a t-shirt company. I know anime is really big now, but at the time, you know, they didn't have all this cool, well, I don't know if it's cool, but they didn't have all these animation shirts. I don't know about that color, but, oh, actually, yeah, that's a good color.
At the very early stage of Hookups, it was very conservative. And then over time, it got more aligned with implied nudity, and that definitely shocked a lot of shops and also kids and certainly parents.
I just like to put girls on boards. I think it looks cool to have chicks on boards. I like robots and shit too.
I've probably drawn around over 100 Hookups graphics. Hookups graphic is kind of your basic Japanese anime, stereotypical women, big boobs, very tight clothing, disproportionate bodies. Jeremy was like a caricature of an asshole to where it was almost like comical. And I've always been around extreme personalities most of my careers. Jeremy was just another personality. But Jeremy loved art. He loved artists, and he loved to work with me. So we got along great. Whatever Jeremy would give me, I would just do. That was basically just his hands. When I did go on salary at Birdhouse, I actually negotiated probably the best deal I ever could have because no one else could get along with Jeremy.
I would love to do another graphic with him. Yeah, I would love that. He doesn't like doing my stuff. He doesn't like drawing anime stuff. Yeah.
Can you talk about Hookups tours?
God, they were fun. I didn't really have much money, and so honestly, the tours were just an excuse for me to go on a trip with my friends.
I mean, those were some of the greatest tours. There was no parental control at all. You know, there's just basically everyone trying to outdo themselves with some antic.
This was van door open at 80 miles an hour, shooting fireworks out, shooting fireworks off in the van, bottle rockets whizzing around. Yeah, it was a nightmare. I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah, those tours were pretty intense, man. They were literally like 30, 60-day tours with demos every single day. Like, he's definitely a prankster, you know, Dennis the Menace times 1,000. But I'm fine with that on the road. It's like, you want that. It gets rid of that mundane on the road kind of feeling, and Jeremy's always been good like that.
The thing that made the Hookups tour so special is that at the time, skateboarding was broke. 94 was the first one, I believe. And, you know, people didn't have money. So teams were going out there on the road, skating the crappiest courses you've ever seen in your life.
Jeremy wanted it different, so that's why we brought our own obstacles.
All the fucking demos I used to go to, World would send me to a fucking place, and they have like 2 wedge ramps in the front, and you're supposed to do a full demo there. And I always think like, wow, these kids are not gonna be excited to watch me skate this. And that actually gets over to my other thing. Like, people used to think I was like stuck up or like cocky or something. I could actually make a lot of tricks pretty quick back then. And then I would go fucking just mope over into the corner and sit down. I was trying to be too cool. I was trying to not shake people's hands, you know, but it wasn't because I thought I was awesome or whatever. I was just like, I didn't want them to think that I thought I was awesome. I just wanted demos for kids to be something kind of exciting. So I'm like, we'll bring a trailer with a bunch of obstacles.
And then we'll skate the hood of the car. And then we'll skate the top of the van.
And then the end of the demo is just us flying through the ring of fire.
I think it could have got really dangerous, really. But luckily no one got harmed, you know.
To have Mark Gonzalez on a very random trip was a trip.
Mark went on there for about 5 demos, did some of the raddest tricks I've ever seen. He does a nose pick grind across that thing. I know, I said nose pick grind.
I mean, he did his stale fish grabs. He did his mob kick flips.
On top of the van, man, he does a method air over the van. Holy shit, you know, Mark's style, fuck.
Anyone in that van knew that that time was special. And that was rad that Jeremy did that. And to have our little Mark experience and like be connected for life, which is what those tours do, it was awesome.
Hanging out with Jeremy at that point was some of the funnest times of our lives. But yeah, he was also like such a fucking hater. He hated most of the other people that I was skating with. That wasn't him. He was the first skater that I saw talk a lot of shit. And I was always like, damn, like, he just did not like anything that was really happening outside his world of skating. But when you were with him, he made you feel really good. You know, like, come on, like, he's like very charming in that way. And it was also cool to see someone who like didn't give a fuck about the rest of the skateboard industry. And he loved skating.
By the time the end rolls around, we kind of have a few more riders. So I'm like, fuck, we can make a rad video with all these guys.
With the end, we kind of let everyone do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just collaboration between me and Jeremy wanting to do something different.
When I saw Jeremy in Heath's section in the video, it just wasn't like any other section I've seen in a video. I don't know, it was a mixture of theater and skating and just chaos. The first nose pick, I think it starts off the like skating aspect of the part. I don't know if this sounds real, but the pivot that he does when he gets on it. I know that sound till the day I die. Like, I will always remember that sound. Well, as an 11 and 12-year-old, you already want to burn and fuck shit up. So when you see someone doing it for a living, you're kind of like, that's what I want to do. I'm going to burn and fuck shit up.
It was supposed to be some sort of dream-esque sequence that we died or something. Because we did have a street part first. And then the van crashes, we're supposed to die, and this is basically heaven.
Me and Heath went to fucking South Coast Plaza and spent $1,000 on Armani suits. A lot of this shit we thought of together, but I think he thought of probably like the suits and stuff. I'm not sure who thought of the suits. But then like once you get the base going, you're like, oh yeah, and we should skate at night only, and we want a fluorescent green jump ramp. I mean, I don't know why all that happened, but we're just like, we want to get up on things that nobody can get up onto.
It was cool. I mean, launching to signs and doing backside tail slides like so high, that's ridiculous.
Those were all real spots. We did build little covers on certain ones because a lot of them have aluminum metal. For the first 4 or 5 tries, we got 0 tricks. You know, we were being like kind of cocky and like, we're like, yeah, we're gonna get all this shit. And then you fucking put a jump ramp up to a 10-foot sign and you're like, fuck, maybe I can grind that thing. But it ain't that fucking easy. Finally, one night we both got tricks on that green electrical box. And then, you know, we got, I don't know, we got like 10 tricks or something.
I mean, Jeremy foot planting over a gas pump? It's ridiculous, but it's so gnarly.
To me, Jeremy and Heath's part is one of my favorite parts. Of course, I'm biased as I was one of the executive producers, but it's just rad.
I think Jeremy's skating on his level just kept getting higher and higher and higher until like when he skated the end with Heath. To me, that was like the culmination of everything Jeremy Klein.
I just remember Jeremy being a ton of fun for what I was, a 20-year-old kid, and having an adult that never pumped the brakes on anything. He was just a lot of fun. I think once we finished that and a Hookups video, I think after those two, he was just kind of burnt out. And then, yeah, we just kind of stopped hanging out from there. We just both went our separate ways. I started taking street skating serious on my own, and he just kind of went back to work.
So this is where I screen my boards. Chicken should be in here. Oh, I'm supposed to talk to the camera, huh? I made a company just because I wanted to come out with some boards. I don't think that there was any need for it to be under the Hookups name. I wanted to start a brand that it could have any kind of graphics. For lack of a better name, it's fucking called JK Industries. Chicken's doing what, the last pass right now?
Yeah.
So,
doing the black.
So right now we're missing the black only. Chicken's been printing boards for 35 years.
How is it working with Jeremy?
Oh.
Nightmare.
When you do it all yourself, you're so close to the product. There's no one else to blame but me if something's wrong. Maybe I'm too hard on myself doing it all myself. I feel like it's a little easier to do it yourself. And I don't plan on getting any bigger. I like it the way it is. If anything, I want to get smaller because I want to have a little more free time.
I mean, he's so creative, like as an artist, just in itself, you know, and he will hate that, like someone says that. In fact, you'd probably want to chop my head off for saying that, but he's incredibly talented and creative and multi-dimensional with that too.
Klein's always been, that dude's super, super dedicated to whatever he's into. He's super about it, militant, and I can respect that. He's never turned his back on me, and that says a lot, because like, at this point in my life, like, I can't think of too many people like that. I could probably count them on my hand. Last time I saw him, he did some board. It was supposed to be me, him, and Jim Greco, but the board never came out, or I don't know. Sometimes I feel like even there, like he just did that board so that he could give me some loot. Like he can't just give me money. Klein would never do that because he's not a fool. Like he's not a sucker either. But he might have a board that never comes out and da-da-da-da-da, and I get a little check for that time.
No, I genuinely wanted to make those boards. I love making boards with Ron. I just wish he was around a little bit more with me. I love Ron. Me and Jim just want him to fucking be with us.
The fun thing about skating with Klein and Jim was like these dudes who like are, I don't know, I would assume some level of like well off from skateboarding and being iconic pros of the last, 2 decades are just still spending the whole Saturday driving to different curbs in LA.
They have amazing footage together, and it's really neat to see like that chemistry is still there from when they first met in 1994 or whatever.
He slams, he goes for it, he's still like skating hard.
Jim's just such a character. He's been doing movies for so long now. I don't like filming so much when I'm skating. So a lot of times we didn't really get to skate that much together just for fun. But I didn't have a lot of footage, but I had a couple tricks, yeah. I had like 3 rad partners in this whole skateboard career. Heath, Jim, and Ron Chapman.
Jeremy built his own following through Hookups, and now he sells Hookups direct to consumers, and he will literally say, come meet me at this Korean barbecue place and buy a skateboard from me, and sit down and have food and have a drink.
He's been a fan of Korean barbecue for such a long time. The place that he goes to, it's like he owns it.
June, you know those mushrooms that we get, right? Can you bring those?
The same one.
Fuck yeah. This grill is fucking bullshit right now.
The workers, like, they'll take shots with them.
I watched him throw a shot glass at the wall in the middle of the restaurant at 7 p.m.
Hey, we're drinking.
Yeah, I was definitely nervous going down to re-meet up with him. It's just like a figure from your past, a friend from the past that you've kind of grown apart from. I didn't think it'd go off seamlessly. He's unapologetically himself to everyone. He's not hiding anything. He lives exactly how he wants. If he wants to live like an 18-year-old child, that's how he's gonna live to the end. Like, no one's gonna tell him what to do.
We're beyond like the days of like being cool. What's cool now? Skateboarders ride for Oakley, dude. Come on.
We connected on a lot of things in a way that I didn't with other skaters. We were very much aligned in terms of our sense of values and priority.
Certain people get celebrated differently somehow because they have different longevity or they do different things post their main era. But then some people who were super active in that era who didn't maybe do a lot of stuff afterwards kind of end up getting forgotten, which is kind of strange.
For Jeremy to do this documentary, it's like pulling teeth. Like he 100% is completely against like self-promotion, and he's always been that way. He hates guys that do that. But at the same time, I think when you reach a certain age and maybe, being coerced by your friends, telling him, hey man, like it's time, like this story needs to be told.
We just wrapped up our day with Jeremy Klein. It was not at all what I feared. He wasn't mean to us. He was gracious. He didn't pick on us, torture me. He didn't even talk shit in his interview. He was just a perfect gentleman. And it was a great day, especially for me being such a big Jeremy Klein fan. Couldn't ask for anything better. So I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Wait, where's Patrick? Oh, there he is. Fucking. Fucking. Dude, we went in a minor one, Patrick. You know that?
What's a minor one?
This is a fucking small one, dude. This is a small bush.
I already did my outro saying how nice you were. Hey, no.
Dude, we're doing the weakest bushes ever,
I'm
Patrick.
stopping the fall a little bit.
Dude, but these are like shitty ones. Come on, Patrick. This is the real shit.
Watch out, watch your face. Not the 805.
If I didn't have skateboarding in my life, I wouldn't be anything. I want to thank Tony Hawk and Per Willender. There's a lot more people to thank, but I know you guys have been sitting through a bunch of bullshit for fucking 3 hours, so I'm done. Thank you.